how SewGreen at Rochester started. Um, I started with a mentoring ministry back in 2011, and people started asking me from that if I was going to teach. So from that, I founded a couple of sewing workshops in the city of Rochester. And while I was working on that, my friend Martha brought me a brochure from SewGreen in Ithaca. At the same time, an opportunity came from the National Episcopal Church to write for a grant with the name that it's called the Domestic Poverty Grant. So I submitted that grant and was awarded $30,000 to get SewGreen at Rochester off the ground. And was very fortunate to have Mitzi Collins drive me all around the west side of the city, and we identified possible areas to put the shop in. I was really devoted to the idea of putting it on the west side of the city because I feel like this area is underserved and really wanted to bring more people to this area. And I knew a shop like this could do it. If you look around our shop, you'll see the work of so many people to get this place funded, to get the 501c3, and to just keep it looking beautiful every day. The interesting thing is I didn't initially think of that, but Rockworks called me back in early 2016 and said, we have this program with the city schools where we place interns in businesses, and we think this would be a good fit. So they sent us a wonderful young man named Ken Trell that year in the summer. And so we learned alongside Ken Trell about what we wanted to do with interns. They started out working a lot, but Ken Trell also attended Tom Bohr's marionette camp. So he learned how to make a puppet, and he also became very good at teaching other young people how to sew. A lot of our program is using sewing to teach and empower people. And there's something really wonderful about a young person teaching another young person. For one thing, they cement their own knowledge. And the other thing is that I think that it's just fun for a kid to learn from a kid. We got 2 interns the next year from Rockworks. And then the maximum number before the pandemic was 4. So we developed part of the intern program as the interns designing and implementing a community service project. And really what that meant was me encouraging from the sidelines, but not taking it over, not telling them what to do or really how to do it. Really about them growing leadership. And it was really interesting to see who would emerge from that group of interns really as the spearhead of the project. And every year it happened that one of them would really take charge and encourage the other interns to come along, and they'd split up tasks and put it together. So that's been very exciting. And I don't think they get enough opportunities to do that. I wanted to see them become leaders in their community. Yeah, so one of the projects that they got started a few years ago, we had an intern named Lalisse, and she wasn't big on sewing, but she's an artist. So her project was around tote bags. So she got the other interns together. They made tote bags and they took them out to the Arnett Block Party, was their first big event. And over 50 people stopped by their table to paint these tote bags that they had made. We've got beautiful pictures of how that happened, and just the excitement and the joy of the people who painted those bags. The interns just were blown away by, how this fairly simple project just really caught on with all ages. So we had Alondra and Rachel, and actually Camelia was a local high school student who came in at least once a week to work on things. So the projects that they worked on, beyond like learning how a retail shop works, sorting things, and helping us with display, they came up with a project to make masks in the community. For me, it was really uh, interesting because they panicked about that when they realized how much demand was out there for what they were doing. They panicked, and Alondra said, "Can we just do something else? I don't know how we're going to do this." And I just said, "Okay, wait a minute, take a step back and think this through." I pointed around to the shop and said, "I didn't make all this happen by myself. So when you have more than you can accomplish, what do you do?" Right? You reach out to your community partners. So they put together posts on Facebook and Instagram and in our newsletter and got more masks than they knew what to do with. So they learned an important thing about connecting to the community and communicating with people. And that's as important as any sewing skill they could have gained here. What we do in terms of specific skills is offer them kind of a menu of things. But if I see that someone is more attached to one area, like some people get very attached to machines, cleaning them, adjusting them. Some of the interns have been very attached to teaching. Some of them really like just talking to people and asking them what they're working on. Um, and for some of them, they just as soon measure and mark fabric and put it away. Yeah, it's a tough thing. We haven't encouraged kids to look for creative careers. They've been pushed into computers and office work and service industry and told that, oh, you can't make a living sewing, you can't make a living creating. I would say from my own career that that's not true. You can do those things. You're not going to become a millionaire, but you're going to be pretty happy with what you create. So, and I'm also excited to see kids create with sustainable ingredients. So everything that they're going to use at our shop is recycled goods from the sewing machine. We give all the interns a sewing machine. Um, from the sewing machine they receive to the thread they use to the fabric to the patterns, it's all been donated. It's all, cast offs from people that uh, need another life. Um, Very excited to work with young designers who, there's not another place in the city where they're going to work with these kind of materials and this kind of support. Yeah, I really would like to see an after school weekend intern program. A young man came in that I knew from another program that I had in the city. I'm an Episcopal deacon and I have done community gardening and kids clubs. And he came in and said, "Miss Georgia, could you hire me?" And I said, "That's a really good idea. Let me start working on that." And this kid has got a great design eye. Um, but where is he going to find a job here where he can really put that to work? Here, right? He could be designing things, teaching other kids. It would give him a useful uh, skill to learn around his schooling and a safe place to be. So that's part of it for high school kids here is a good, safe environment where they can thrive. What I've always hoped this program would instill in our interns, in how it would carry on into their lives and their, hopefully future success.